Compassion. Like a feather, doesn't try to change the world in one sweeping motion. It moves quietly, gently catching us and others in the softest of ways. It's not about making grand gestures, it's about offering a steady hand in moments when we need it the most. Compassion is about being there, quietly, gently, offering something meaningful at just the right time. And in those moments, we learn that compassion has the power to transform both the giver and the receiver. Remember when I used to do these, like in the office?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Awesome.
like just to kick off the all company meetings. It was just such an interesting way to send a compassionate tone to people. I often just love doing it too on like a Monday, coming off of a weekend where we're all getting revved up for the weekend. Just a moment in that environment just can like center you so much and like really have the compassion like reverberate just through your spirit, through your energy. I also just like to do it myself. So before we kick this off, let's just get a little grounding in. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's the stuff. Compassion is not loud. It doesn't demand attention or recognition. Instead, it shows up quietly, like a feather floating downward, softer than a whisper, but its impact lingers. Compassion finds us in the quietest of moments, catching us when we fall, offering small gestures of care when we least expect them. Today, we explore compassion, the gentle force that catches us when the world feels heavy. Granny had a way of moving through life with quiet compassion, like a feather floating gently to the ground, landing just when and where it was needed. She never rushed to fix things or made grand gestures. Instead, her compassion appeared in the smallest, most subtle ways, gentle acts that often went unnoticed but had a lasting impact. I remember when I was going through my first breakup. You know, the kind of breakup that leaves you feeling unsteady, like you're falling through life. I hadn't said much to Granny, but somehow she knew. She didn't offer advice or try to fix it. Instead, she made my favorite meal, wings, with all my favorite flavors. No words were needed. The moment I saw that meal, I felt like landing softly after a long fall, as if her quiet care had caught me just in time. Her compassion wasn't about grand solutions. It was about presence. And that presence showed up in the everyday. She always left the stove light on, casting a soft glow in the hallway for anyone passing by to the washroom in the middle of the night. And she kept the blanket and a pillow in the hallway, ready for a family member who needed a place to stay and gather themselves for a while. It was like she always was one step ahead, offering warmth and comfort before we knew we needed it. Granny also had a way of caring for people beyond the family. There was this one neighbor who would often come up short at the laundromat, always needing a quarter or two to finish her laundry. Granny didn't make a big deal of it. She simply slipped the quarter into her hand with a knowing smile and said, "Anything helps." Through those moments, Granny showed me that compassion isn't about fixing everything. It's about being there in the quietest ways, offering something small but meaningful, like a soft landing just when it's needed the most. Compassion, like a feather, doesn't try to change the world in one sweeping motion. It moves quietly, gently catching us and others in the softest of ways. It's not about making grand gestures, it's about offering a steady hand in moments when we need it the most. Here are 3 ways to embrace compassion in your life as a gentle force that transforms both you and those around you. Tip 1. Offer small, quiet acts of kindness. Compassion doesn't always need to be large or loud. It can be a meal made for someone going through a hard time, a light left on for someone returning late, or even a quiet moment of listening. These small acts create a soft landing for others when they need it the most. Tip 2. Be present, not perfect. Compassion is about showing up, not fixing everything. It's about being there in the small ways that count. Like Granny leaving the blanket and a pillow for someone in need. You don't have to have all the answers, but being present can make all the difference. Tip 3. Give without expectation. True compassion comes with no strings attached. It's about helping others, even in the smallest ways, without expecting anything in return. Whether it's slipping a quarter to a neighbor at the laundromat or offering a smile, these small gestures resonate deeply. Granny's quiet acts of compassion have stayed with me throughout my entire life. From the meal she made to the quarter she offered, her compassion showed me the transformation doesn't always come from big, dramatic moments. Sometimes it's the small, thoughtful gestures that make all the difference. Catching us when we fall, giving us enough to keep going. Compassion is about being there, quietly, gently, offering something meaningful at just the right time. And in those moments, we learn that compassion has the power to transform both the giver and the receiver. Thank you all for joining me today. Compassion is the quiet act of being present, offering softness in a hard world, giving someone the gift of landing gently when they need it the most.